You're listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation Podcast. As always, a proud member of the CLNS group of podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to all those great shows to get great Patriots content all week long. But tonight, it's your guy Pat Lane here with my man Matt St. Jean. And Matt, the question I have for you is: are the Patriots trading their entire draft to go up and draft Kenyon Sadiq?
No.
What an absolute freak, dude! I just like. Guys like that don't exist. And what's funny is that, and someone had tweeted out, and I don't know exactly, it's not an original take necessarily, but somebody was saying, like the days of the, big bodied power forward that's not super skilled in the NBA are gone. And it has left the NFL with a ton of super freakishly athletic guys that play either tight end or linebacker or edge that probably would have been, probably would have tried to play basketball. Whether they were good or not, who knows, but probably would have tried to play basketball. And instead they stuck to football instead. And it's left us with these guys that Sadiq with a 4.3 940, a 43.5-inch vertical, and 11 foot 1 inch broad jump. An absolute freak of nature at like 241 pounds. It's ridiculous. That's like NBA numbers.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. There were a number of tight ends, I think, in this class that tested pretty well.
Stowers being another one.
Yeah, he's an athletic freak. I know Vernon Davis was the comp being thrown around for Kenyon Sadiq, which I do like. He's an interesting athlete. Do you have his numbers in front of you right now by any chance? Do you know what he measured in at for height?
So Sadiq, I think, was 6'2". Hold on. I have his
he's short and wide. He's stocky, and he's this very interesting.
And he hasn't turned 21 yet.
Yeah.
Turns 21. As a matter of fact, he turns 21, what's today, the 2nd? In 2 days. So he
good for him.
He was 6'3", 241.
Okay, yeah. So he's like a big wide receiver in a lot of ways.
Really? But
almost like a small fullback in others. Like he's this really weird blend of sizes that does it's when you think about the big tight end, you're thinking Gronk as like the stereotypical body type. But even a guy like Travis Kelce is a big dude.
Correct.
And I don't know Travis Kelce's height off the top of my head, but I got to think it's taller than Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, I agree. Eli Stowers is interesting because he's 6'4", and he's not that much taller, but
that inch.
But even still,
Yeah. It's an interesting tight end class there, especially because there isn't a single guy in this class where you go, this guy has the traditional body type of a tight end and the type of production, both as a receiver and as a blocker, that you would like to see with that body type. There's some guys where you can, like Roush from Stanford, I think, is someone you could talk yourself into seeing that with him.
Mm-hmm.
But Stowers is athletic and raw and older because he made a position change.
Yeah.
And Kenyon Sadiq is someone who, I think is going to be a very good player in the NFL and is also someone that you're not going to use like a traditional tight end.
Right.
Which, do you want to know? This just came to my mind. You want to know the team that would scare me to get Sadiq? That I think is in the range to pick him? It's the Rams.
Oh, Lord.
They've been looking.
They already play with 3 tight ends. They've played with 4 tight ends, for God's sakes.
Well, they play with 3 tight ends, but Parkinson's been good.
Yeah, no, they would just swap one of those guys out for Sadiq and look out.
When Devontae Adams is getting any younger and Puka Nacua is someone who's been often injured, they still need more weapons, as crazy as that is to say. And with Stafford getting older, if there's not a quarterback you want to drop in there, and I know corner is a need, but they got 2 firsts.
Yeah.
You could, in theory, take Sadiq with that first one and think of think of all those running concepts that they like to use where you get like a tight end or a fullback or a wide receiver like in a weird alignment in the backfield and you just use them in motion. All of that with Sadiq in that role and that McVay offense is freaky. He would never drop to San Francisco, but that's the same thing there where if you put him next to Kittle and just let them cook,
100%.
it becomes just a disgusting group.
Yeah.
But it's also like you need the right fit. Like if Sadiq came to New England, obviously you're going to make it work. He also doesn't make your run game any better, I don't think, for what they've been doing in New England. Maybe he does. Maybe he's able to take that run blocking to another level. But I think it would be a more natural fit in some other spots.
Yeah. Well, and that's, it's one of those things where like, it's going to be an interesting fit. Like Sadiq is kind of a guy that you wonder, like, where does he go? Brock Bowers is an interesting case about this. Like Bowers is similar where he's just like a freak. He doesn't necessarily he doesn't have the testing numbers that Sadiq did, but he tested very well. It's like you put him into that, Vegas offense and he's like, he's a dominant player, but the rest of that offense is just hot garbage. Right. And so it's like he's the number one guy. You throw Sadiq into that Rams offense, and it's like, look out. Like all of a sudden that offense that was good already becomes that much better. And you're sitting there saying, how in the world did they pull this off? Right. The Falcons are so incredibly stupid to make this trade. And, they end up drafting, where is it, 13? They have the 13th pick, I think it is. So, it's like, that's a reasonable start for Sadiq. I think he probably goes in the top 10 just because guys with numbers like that. And I think tight ends, like what we've seen from tight ends, they get drafted a lot. Luke Schoonmaker's a guy for me that he's the example that I keep coming back to. I thought he was a 5th, 6th round pick. I liked Schoonmaker a lot coming out of school. I liked him a lot. As like a 4, I was like, oh, maybe we'll like take a risk and take him in the 4th instead of the 5th or whatever. And the Cowboys, it's the Cowboys and whatever, but the Cowboys took him in the 2nd round. Like, this is tight ends that can play football are guys that if someone likes him, it just takes one guy to say, this guy's really good. We got to go out there and get him. And so, yeah, I don't know if anyone in the top 10 would do that, but I think it's at least interesting. Just as I'm looking at it, Washington's an interesting spot. New Orleans.
Kansas City with 1 year left, probably have Travis Kelce.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense there. So yeah, I think
I think they probably go tackle, but you're probably right about that,
Yeah, they need an offensive weapon. So Sadiq, I think, fits that bill. I don't think, switching positions here for a second, I don't think Jeremiah Love gets past Kansas City if he's still on the board when the Chiefs pick. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I think he comes off the board before that too.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. He's another guy who's just a freak,
Speaking of guys that are going to go in the top 10, did you see the news about Caleb Downs today?
No.
I'm going to pull this up to double check I didn't get bitten by like a fake tweet because I feel like this was blowing up earlier. Caleb Downs, he has a potentially degenerative ACL.
Well, that's not ideal.
No, which I do think that puts that in he is such an interesting prospect because he's the smartest player in that entire Ohio State defense, the engine that made it go, a true X factor. He's not necessarily the best athlete, and if he has that type of condition, I don't know how you evaluate that because, you have to be athletic enough, and if he's the kind of guy where, you think he's going to tear his ACL, and by the time he's 28, he is going to be already a shell of his former self. If you're only getting him as a good player on his rookie contract, and that second contract's not going to be something you're interested in, how does that change the value?
Right. It's definitely true. I mean, that's interesting. And the guy that, we hadn't talked about yet, but, Sadiq is a guy that obviously we talked about, but the other Ohio State Buckeye, Sonny Styles, like, he's an absolute monster. So it's like interesting when you look at some of these guys where it's like Downs, I love him. And I feel like he should be a top 10 pick. But if you're concerned about that knee, like you say, I don't know how I feel about that anymore. Now you kind of look at it and say, I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. So,
while we're talking about the top of the draft, I am curious. And I know we're doing a mock draft today. We'll do a Patriots mock. I think at some point we should do a first round mock.
Yeah.
Probably after free agency is when we'll be appropriate for that. If you're the Jets sitting at 2 right now, what are you doing with that pick?
I don't know. If I'm the Jets, I don't know. So you don't need an offensive lineman. You probably could use like a pass catcher, but I'm not drafting Sadiq there, and there's no wide receivers that are that valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the top of the draft is not. It's good, but it's not great. If I'm the Jets, I'm probably looking to trade out if I can.
But who's trading up for all of the reasons we just talked about?
So that's the problem, right?
So if you got a stick and pick, who are you taking?
I mean, I'm probably going with an edge defender.
Yep.
Or a corner, I guess. But it's funny because you just traded Sauce Gardner, and now you're going to draft another corner at number 2. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? You know? And by the way, someone who isn't quite as good, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's interesting. You look around, and I'm just looking at Lance Erline has them taking David Bailey. Bucky Brooks, I think, has them taking David Bailey as well. Daniel Jeremiah, DJ has them, I believe, also taking David Bailey as well. So, oh wait, hold on, that's not true. Jeremiah has them taking, yes, David Bailey as well. So they have them pretty much locked in. Obviously, everyone has Mendoza going number 1, and then they have David Bailey going number 2. It's just funny where it's like you're in a 1 QB draft, really, and you have the second pick. So it's just like, you know, sucks to suck if you're the Jets, you know?
Yeah. Looking at the consensus mocks on the NFL mock database right now.
Yep.
Mocks over the last week, they have Arvell Reese as the pick.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting is that, you know, I think there's a number of guys. I mean, I think you could arguably just say that they should take one of the guys from Ohio State. And it's, do you go Downs? Do you go Arvell Reese? Do you go Sonny Styles? You know, is that too high for him? Probably. But all it takes is one. And you also mentioned receiver. You know, the number 1 receiver for a lot of teams right now is Carnell Tate from Ohio State. If the Jets are going to go receiver, the Carnell Tate would make sense, I think. So I would bet good money on it being an Ohio State player who ends up going to the Jets at 2. Which one? I don't know. And then, you know, you mentioned David Bailey and the one other name, Reuben Bain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of those 3 edge rushers also seems like a pretty high probability at this point.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. No, it's gonna be interesting. It's a tough. That honestly is a tough. You know, is a tough call. I'm glad I'm not the Jets. To be very honest with you, I'm glad I'm not Jets for a lot of reasons.
Of reasons. Yeah.
You know, but I'm glad I'm not the Jets. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Patriots and what's going to, you know, who's going to fall, whether it's a receiver that kind of drops down there. Will a guy like Denzel Boston drop to them? You know, and then it's, you know, you say, okay, does, you know, Monroe Freeling? It feels like Freeling probably isn't going to drop to them anymore. It seems like he's going to go a lot earlier than that.
I was going to say with the combine, I mean, Freeling was awesome. He had a great workout. I can't see a world where he makes it to 31.
I think he might. I don't know if he's going to be the first tackle taken.
The top half of the first round.
But, you know, he'll be one of those guys, probably in the top 15 or so, you know. So, it's interesting. So, and Lowe's Talks Pats says that Matthew Barry said this rumor going the Jets could send a ton of picks to move up to 1. If I'm the Raiders, I gotta at least consider it. Maybe you feel like Mendoza is the guy. He's gonna be like the guy. But you're telling me the Jets are gonna send you their first round pick this year, their first round pick next year, another pick, and then something else to move up 1 spot. Now you have 2.
I still wouldn't consider it. It wouldn't even cross my mind to consider that if I'm the Raiders. If there's a good reason for it. What's the point of all these picks? You're trying to get a quarterback.
Of course, yeah, of course.
You're in the spot to get the quarterback.
To get the guy, right. The only way you would do it is if you're not 100% sold on Mendoza. If you look at it and say, I like Mendoza, but I don't love him, you know, I don't know. So, I don't know. that's going to be interesting to see kind of how they feel about him.
Yeah, and that would be interesting. It would certainly be interesting if it happened. I
Yeah.
just can't imagine a world where Vegas would ever pull the trigger on something like that. We're
I don't
talking.
think so. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking years of first round picks, and it's Mendoza to the Raiders right now is probably how Drake May looked to us. When he was
Yeah.
picked. This is the future of the franchise. That's what you're thinking right now. How many we'll go back a year, but how many first round picks would it have taken to get you to move off of Drake May?
Right. So many.
But that's in a class where you think you could have possibly gotten another quarterback in it if you're moving back.
Right.
I think there might be smoke there because people are trying to start a fire, but I don't think anyone's actually going to let a match.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I just think it's interesting when someone gives you a package that big and you're like, ooh. But if you're trying to actually run a football team and you're not just playing Madden, right? You're not making that deal because you don't know what the quarterbacks look like next year. You don't know what the Jets are going to do next year. And then it's okay, maybe we're not ready for a QB, right? That was the argument that everyone made about Drake May. Well, the Patriots aren't ready to sustain the top flight QB. What does that even mean? You just need the guy. And if you can't let him get killed the first year and you don't trust the offensive line and you feel like we're going to ruin him if you put him out there, guess what? Don't freaking play him and just sit him for a year. It doesn't matter. You just have to have the guy. It doesn't matter when he plays. You have to have him on your team. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I also think Patriots specific wise, Pat Sats kind of mentioned this, and this is what a lot of people are talking about. He has about 12 first round grades, worse than since the Cole Strange draft, 2022 draft. I think this works really well in the Patriots' favor. I think the thing about this draft is that there's not a ton of blue chip talent. There's some, but there's not a ton. But there's a really, really good depth of players at a bunch of different positions. Linebacker and safety and edge defender and offensive line for the most part and wide receiver. And, you kind of go down the list and you're like, yeah, there's a ton of depth at a ton of different positions. And that's great. It's a great spot for the Patriots to be in because sitting at 31, you're looking at it saying, well, somebody might trade me from 34 or 35 to move back up into the first round to take a quarterback or take someone because you get that fifth-year option. Having that fifth-year option is nice, and you're also able to do it. Now, the Bills did it a few years ago. Didn't work out in their favor, right? But they moved back with the Chiefs. They moved back again, and then they moved back again, and they were able to stockpile some picks and still get the guy they wanted. Now, they took the wrong guy, right, in Keon Coleman, but they were able to still get the guy they wanted. So the Patriots at 31 might then be able to say, you know what? We like a few guys here, but he's going to be around at 36. We can move back to 36. We can take him there at 36 and pick up something else as well. And you feel like everyone's kind of in that same zone. So I think it's a good spot for the Patriots to be in.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very flat class this year and a lot of depth.
Yeah.
So, I think there's potential for the Patriots to move up. You have ammo, and there's a world where someone falls a little bit, and you want to just move up, 3-4 spots at the end of the first round and make sure you get someone. World where you trade back. I don't think we see a lot of massive trades in the draft this year because it's so flat. I don't think we're going to see teams moving up 20, 30 spots to go get a guy unless we're talking, day 3.
Right.
So I think what's more interesting to me is just how many of these day 3 picks do the Patriots make? You got 11 picks and 8 of them are on day 3, I believe is the way it shakes out.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So if they can use them all, that can be a lot of depth, a lot of dart throws, and a lot of different positions. Or you can, combine 2 picks to move up. If you want to go get someone, you can take a pick and turn it into a pick next year and push it out into the future. And I don't think they make 11. I'm going to guess they make 8 to 10 picks. So the question is, how many do you consolidate to move up, and how many are you just moving out of this year's draft?
Right. Yeah, 6 this year for a 7th next year or something like that. Like
It would
whatever.
probably be the other way around. A
Or
six.
6 this year for a 5th next year.
Yeah, usually you get
Right.
to move up around,
Yeah, right.
moving back a year there. So that I'm curious about.
But like, just to your point, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just to your point, linebacker, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, C.J. Allen, Anthony Hill, Jake Goldie, Jacob Rodriguez, Josiah Trotter, Kyle Lewis. Right, that's all in the top 85. Right, those guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good. And again, those top guys might be really good. The rest of it's like good, but not great. You look at the wide receiver, and it's like you mentioned Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Casey Conception.
Should we talk about
Cooper, Malachi Fields, so on and so on and so on and so on. So like all these guys, Chris Bell, like Brazel, Elijah Surratt, like Jeremy Bernard, like Ted Hurst, Jacoby Lane, like it's unbelievable. The depth at receiver is great, even though there's not necessarily a blue chip receiver. Who do you want to talk about? I'm sorry.
Well, I think now we're at the receivers. I got a couple guys I think are probably worth mentioning here. I think we got to start with Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, he's a weird dude, man.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't see his press conference, strange body language.
Yeah. Well, then it's also like
questions.
And then I saw a clip of like before a drill, and it's like they're running like a go route or something like that. I think it was for the quarterbacks. I'm not even sure really what it was. And it was like Todd Downing is like explaining the drill. And he's like, all right, well, you want to go about 3/4 speed. And then Lemon just like the second guy right after Downing describes it, explains what's going on. And he like basically like half jogs off the line. And he just completely misses it. And it's like, dude, what are you doing, guy? Like, it's crazy,
Which I think is interesting. I wonder how the Patriots view that internally. If Lemon falls in as they're at 31, I wonder how they view that. If they're because there have been a lot of reports on Twitter that he did not do well in interviews. I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Right.
But then the other thing, like, what guy didn't really follow instructions and didn't necessarily do well in the pre-draft process? Rob Gronkowski,
right,
who fell, and the Patriots were like, well, there's enough talent there. We're just going to see if we can make it work.
Yeah.
And, what we don't know in there is if Todd Downing is correcting him on, that moment after, how he takes it. Because, it's one of the things you look at here when you're evaluating players is knowing that these guys are young and they're going to make mistakes. They're going to mishear things or maybe not give full effort on something. And the question is, how do you respond when you're called on that? How do you respond when you're pushed? That tells you a little bit more than if you got it right in the first place. In a lot of these situations, football is so much about overcoming adversity.
It's true.
That said, I think Mekhi Lemon has a real chance of sliding down the board here in the draft because some other receivers had good combines. I want to mention another receiver, though, who I thought was interesting. Malachi Fields.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who did well. Was at the Senior Bowl where he did well. He's a big body guy. He's not a burner. He came out and ran a 4.6.
4.6, yeah.
But I'm forgetting the name of the drill. The drill where they have to run along horizontally across the field while catching balls from the left side and then the right side and the left side and the right side, alternating while they run. He had one of the fastest speeds of any player during that drill, of any receiver during that drill where you got to go catch the footballs.
Yes, he did. Yep.
And I look back at, I believe, was it Puka back in the day who didn't have that fastest 40 time, but had a great time during that. And I look at someone like Malachi Fields, where speed's not really his game anyway. And I look at the fact that the way 40 times push players up the board, he was immediately someone that was like, okay, this guy might get passed over by NFL teams a little bit unfairly. It might be a steal if the Patriots can, because he was someone who was looked at as a 3rd round pick. If he's still there at the top of the 4th because of the 40 time, right, I'm jumping on that, especially because I think his skill set matches with what Drake made us.
100%. 100%. And the concern is that the numbers look a lot like Keon Coleman, which isn't great. But he's a better route runner than Keon Coleman. He showed that at the Senior Bowl, right? So,
we're also talking about a 4th round pick and not pick, 31 or whatever.
100%. But I just think, that's. So I don't know. But But yeah, I don't look at it and think yeah, I don't know. I I'm in on Fields, 100% on Fields. That's just like he was in my mock draft number one. I love him. I think that he'd be a really good fit for the Patriots. I honestly wouldn't mind him. If you trade back in maybe he ends up in the third round. Take him in the third round. I'm okay with that.
Well, he's up at 42 on the consensus board. I didn't actually realize he was that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of moved up over time. I'm curious if that 40 time pushes him back down. It's funny, if you go back around Christmas, he was seen as someone that was going to go in the 1 teens somewhere.
Well, and it's because
he's done well in the draft process here.
Yeah, and then he goes to Senior Bowl and dominates the Senior Bowl. So
Yep.
So anyway, so we'll see.
I like him as a what do you call it? In that Mac Hollins role too.
Yeah. I think so too. I think he's a great fit for what the Patriots want to do. Again, is he available at 63? I don't know. I don't really want him at 31. It's a little too early for me. So
no chance.
I don't know. But yeah. So one other thing I think that we'll kind of chat about is that there was a report saying that the Crosby trade, if a Crosby trade happens, it will happen in the next few days, this week or so. And again, who knows if that's accurate or not, but that's what someone had reported. There was also a report that the Giants are shopping Kayvon Thibodeau. I know you responded to my tweet about that with your thoughts. And I agree that there are plenty of options available in free agency. And I agree with that. I do also think you have a bunch of those, 6th round picks. You have a bunch of those day 3 picks, like you said. If I can send a day 3 pick and pick up a guy like that I think can help us right away, then, especially if it's a 6th round pick, like you tell me I can send a 6 or even 2 6th round picks and pick this kid up. And if he has a great year, then fine. If not, then whatever, I don't know. It's just interesting to me.
My issue is just that Thibodeau's also on like a pretty, it's not crazy expensive, but he's not on a cheap deal right now. He's got 1 year left.
That's fair.
It's one of those where, like, if you trade for Thibodeau and he's good, then if you're signing him to an extension after that, then he's going to be expensive. If you trade for him and he underperforms, then you've just lost the trade. If you trade for him and you sign him to an extension right away, he's going to get market value. There's like 4 or 5 other edge rushers hitting free agency that are exactly as good as Kayvon Thibodeau, who you can get for that exact same price without having to give up any draft assets.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to make Thibodeau's market here fascinating to me. Like I think he has to get traded later in this process, because I can't imagine a team jumping on that to get out in front. Like, I think everyone's going to play free agency and see what the prices look like before they even start to go that direction.
Yeah, that's fair.
Max Crosby, like, in theory, I like it for the Patriots. There's so many good options. It's like I'm not, and he's getting older. He has not had his best pass rush production the last couple of years. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't know if I'm giving up a 1 for him in this market right now. And I do kind of think they're just trying to get him to buy back in Vegas. I wouldn't be shocked if he just doesn't get moved here.
Yeah.
Because there might be teams saying, like, we're just not itching to make a move on this at the moment. And if no one's offering more than a 2, we'll say the Raiders might say, all right, Max, we tried. No one's offering what we want. Let's keep you here and make this work. And all of a sudden, if Mendoza is good, it looks like a nice, smart move.
Yeah. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Time for a break and a mock.
I was gonna say let's do a break and then we'll start our mock draft. We will go from there. Okay. Of course, this ad break is for Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Once again, PrizePicks is early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And with the new social feeds feature, you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow PrizePicks partners like us and Teo, or most likely fade our picks with just one click. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. Download the PrizePicks app today and put in the promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, let's get started on this.
All right, let's get into a little mock draft action here.
I love it.
I got my setup going over here to control. Do we want to have the same setup? I'm wondering if we introduce a little bit more randomness, just because we don't know how the board's going to shake out post combine. Now, maybe we take this randomness. What I like to do is take the randomness up just a little bit. Maybe, we'll do 1 and maybe draft for needs and up for positional value 1, just to give us something a little bit different from what we got last time.
Okay.
All right. We got Patriots selected all 7 rounds. I'm hitting that button so we don't do what we've done before. And we're going to jump into this. Now, we are doing trades in this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what's there.
Are you ready to start this off?
Absolutely.
It's going to jump right to 31, so we're not moving up.
It's fine with me.
All right. Take a look at this first round before we get. I saw some interesting stuff. Mendoza 1, Sonny Styles 2, Ruben Bain 3.
Just what we talked about, actually, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Mekhi Lemon at 4. I don't think that's happening.
No.
That would be a surprise.
Sure would be.
Yeah. David Bailey at 5. Let's see. Ooh, Carnell Tate to Ohio State is very interesting. Rams taking a safety. Oh, Dylan Thieneman going over Caleb Downs in this one.
It's wild.
How is that?
Caleb Downs to that would be interesting. Caleb Downs to Baltimore, who already has Kyle Hamilton.
That would be fun.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. Caden Proctor to the Browns. Oh, Monroe Freeling to Buffalo. Interesting. Ty Simpson to the Rams at the end of the first round.
That makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Kenyon Sadiq to the Broncos at pick 30.
All the way at 30.
Man, we said we're not trading up. If that's how the board actually fell, I would consider jumping up, see if you can get Sadiq there. Let's see how the board looks according to PFF. Top guys on the board. We've got Denzel Boston. We've got Ione, the guard from Penn State. We've got Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety from Toledo, who also had a great combine. He looks awesome. I did a mock the other day and had the Seahawks taking him with pick 32, which I thought was pretty funny that they just took the next Nick Emanwari themselves so they could have him, just have 2 of them. Caleb Lomu, the Utah tackle. Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, the defensive lineman. This is a top couple guys. Blake Miller at tackle still on the board. Emmanuel Pregnon, the Oregon guard, still on the board. R. Mason Thomas. If this is how the board falls, how are you feeling?
So if this is how the board falls, this is where it gets difficult for me, because if this is how the board falls, I love Boston. I love McNeil Warren. I love Vega. And I'm down with Pregnon too. Like, I almost feel like, for me, and there's a few good, like TJ Parker is a good player too. Like, I almost feel like I would want to trade down into that mid 40s area, try to pick up some extra picks, and then kind of go from there. Just because I like the idea of taking a guard here, but there's 2 guards on the board that I really like. Yeah. I like the idea of taking a wide receiver here, but I like Boston and I like Cooper a lot. And
Yeah.
like even Caleb Lomu was there. Like those are guys that I like a lot of these guys.
Lee
And so
Hunter,
like
yeah.
Lee Hunter's a player that I like. So like
Blake Miller,
Blake
yeah.
Miller's a player that I like. So there's a lot of guys on the board that I like that I'm like, okay, I'm down to move back a little bit. Now that's what, 51?
Yeah. So let's see what this. I mean, a second next year from Carolina if they wanted to move up.
It's not terrible. What about
think you-
83?
I mean, you would get that, and I mean, it would 83 and a third, so 2/3 to move back 20.
You could certainly do that. You could even do, if you wanted to, what if we try to do 83 in the second next year? Obviously, we'd have to throw something else in, but like, what if we did like a fourth next year or something like that? No, it doesn't. Okay.
Will not be accepted.
Yeah. So let's
I
just
think
do
that's too. I think that's too far to move back. 'Cause I think we're going to get out of this tier of guys.
I think you're probably right.
Let's see. Will it let us trade with someone else? Like if we wanted to move back, let's look at this board real quick. Who would want to move back from the teams that are here?
So maybe Arizona.
I don't think they are going to move up in general with the way they operate.
Houston, maybe. Houston gets aggressive at times.
They do, and they need offensive line in general. So let's say it's Houston.
Yeah.
They're not interested in trading for this pick, so they won't even let us do it. I don't think. If we just gave them this, does it change? No. Okay, I think we're gonna have to stick here and pick that.
All right, so let's do it. So I think for me, it's the top two guys. I could be talked into McNeil Warren as well, just because I really like him a lot. But I think it's probably Boston or Vega, just because I think that those two guys are probably the best two players available on the board. And if you're going for best player available, that's what I want to do.
I look at this plays real. I got real zoomed in right now. Oh, there we go. That's better.
So just so you know, Soap saying take Vega, Nikhil saying take Vega.
Got a lot of Vega.
Pat Stats is saying take TJ Parker or Blake Miller.
I think that we got a lot of Vega love here, and I think as much as I love the Boston wide receiver Patriots jersey and how fun that would be, guard is a need. And if you got a guy who you think can be a plug and play left guard.
Now and Nelson, by the way, is another TJ Parker vote from Nelson. But I also think that, I wonder too, like, what happens? I don't know. Let's just go with, I'm cool with going with Vega here. I'm okay with that.
All right. Vega. Do you know how to say that last name? Ione?
I think it's Ione.
Okay. Guard out of Penn State. We'll pull the trigger here at 31. Now, this is going to jump us right to the next pick.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Okay.
I actually think if it were me in this situation, if I were the Patriots in this situation, I would be trying to trade up from the end of the second round, seeing all those guys there, right? You know what I mean? If this were a real draft, I'd be looking at saying, all right, I like all these guys. Maybe I can't move back, but I'm going to try to move up,
Yeah. Yep.
So,
all right. We got some interesting. Okay. So the top guys on the board here at 63, edge defender Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. This is a guy who has been talked about as someone the league is higher on than everyone else. And he's someone that's going to rise. And he did well at the combine, I believe.
Yeah. Malachi Lawrence did really well at the combine. Can you do me a favor? Can we go back? I'm just curious.
Where everyone else went?
Yeah. If like at 51, theoretically, if we had gone to 51, right?
It happened again. Seahawks took Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Unbelievable.
That's the second mock in a row I've done like that. That's awesome. Boston, Arizona, Chris Bell.
Look at all the tackles, though. Lomu, Ian Nature, I didn't even see was there. And Miller.
Yeah, you got to run there.
Wow. All those tackles. Plus Omar Cooper at 41.
Which I will say, I think the Texans moving. Well, who did the Texans take in the first round in this? Did they have a first rounder?
I think they do. Don't they?
Or do they trade with Jacksonville here? Or am I just?
Oh no, they're right there. 28.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, I'm blind. Okay. I
Who's
think
that?
when you look at this run on tackles, Houston may. I think would have been correct that they would have been interested in moving up.
Yeah.
Just looking at the way the offensive lineman fell. Who would? Oh yeah, Pregnon's gone by 51. Igben wasn't already gone. D'Angelo Pons ends up being the pick there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we made a good choice.
So we made the
not
right
moving
decision
back
not
far.
moving down because we're just taking us too far away from what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
Top 5 on the board. I mentioned Lawrence. We got Max Clare, the Ohio State tight end. Kamari Ramsey, the USC safety, who I think really intrigues me here. Dominic Orange, defensive lineman from Iowa State, and wide receiver Elijah Surratt from Indiana.
Surratt's a good player. I just, and Denise Sutton, I think is a solid edge defender as well.
Yeah.
Malachi Fields is there. Like we talked about Malachi Fields already. He's 75 on the PFF board, so it's interesting to kind of see the differences there.
Yeah.
I would be okay with a few different guys, and Nikhil actually says trade down. I'm curious what the trade down looks like here as well.
I'll look at that in a sec here.
I like the Malachi Lawrence. I like Elijah Surratt. I actually don't mind Ramsey either, but I do think, and Nelson says it too, like Lawrence is a Vrabel guy. Like he feels like a Mike Vrabel guy.
I agree. I was going to say I'd be between Lawrence, Ramsey, and Malachi Fields here. Because I think he'd just be in their range at this point.
Yeah.
I like Lawrence for New England. We'll pull up the board so people can see it. 91.6 true pass rush grade. Played for UCF's best games: UNC, Baylor, Texas Tech, BYU. Yeah, this is a Mike Vrabel guy right here. 6'4", 250.
Yeah, he's a little bit older. Redshirt senior's a little bit older, but like I'm okay with that.
He has still been good. I mean, he had 7 sacks this year, 5 and 24, 8 and 23.
Right.
He's had some production here.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Lawrence.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Well, I'll let me see what the trade back looks like.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's Philly, so it's moving back 5 spots. Man, I feel like this would be them coming up for Malachi Lawrence.
Probably would be them coming up for Malachi Lawrence, right? But what do they have? What is that, 98?
Yeah, 98 would be too much, I think, because it's only 5 spots.
Yeah. 122, it looks like. Yeah. But I almost just feel like
if they gave us 98, what would we have to send back? We have to send back 131. So moving back 5 spots to get, it is to move up from 131 to 98.
Yeah, so you move back 5 and move up 30. That's not terrible. Yeah, let's do it because there's enough guys on there. Like Fields is an interesting guy to me. There are a few guys on the board that I like. I think Lawrence is the pick here.
Yeah, but
let's just trade down anyways. What the heck, and let's see what happens.
We'll offer it. It gives us a 59% chance to be accepted. Let's see. Oh, trade not accepted. All right.
Well, there you go. All right.
Stick and pick Lawrence.
Stick and pick.
All right. Lawrence to pick at 63. It's Malachi Lawrence. So we go line of scrimmage for the first 2 picks, a guard and a pass rusher. Ooh, Chris Brazzell actually goes at 94 here to Denver.
Yeah, right before we picked, huh?
Interesting. Kyle Lewis. I can't imagine the Rams drafting a linebacker.
Yeah. No, they could, though.
Carson Beck to Miami. That's so funny. Jennings Dunker to Pittsburgh. No. Staying essentially in the same jersey there.
I know.
Jacob Rodriguez to the Ravens. That's scary.
Yep. Man, I want Jacob Rodriguez so bad. So bad. He's a guy where I would even consider trade. Like, if I'm in that second round spot and I like Rodriguez, I'd consider trading down 10 picks or so and then taking him there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jacob Rodriguez is someone who had a great combine. I wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks into the first round, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Top 5 on the board at 95. DeAndre Lawson, linebacker, Alabama. Justin Jolly, a tight end for NC State. I know he has some fans out there. Deion Burks, wide receiver from Oklahoma. Zakee Wheatley, safety from Penn State. And Antonio Williams, wide receiver from Clemson.
Yeah.
Sam Roush, 108. He's right there.
Pat Sat says 3 as a production has return skills. That's Antonio Williams.
That's interesting.
So he's interesting. He's an interesting guy. You know, I'm curious about how this kind of falls. I don't love Lawson. He's fine, but I don't love him. From Alabama.
I kind of immediately narrow this down to 4 players. I see Justin Jolly and Sam Roush at tight end.
Yep.
There's 2 guys I'd be considering here. I see Zakee Wheatley at safety, who I think the Patriots would like, and I see Antonio Williams with wide receiver and return experience here.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Let's see. Anyone in the chat? Antonio Williams definitely getting love there.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the trade down looks like.
Yeah. There's the Zakee Wheatley stuff, by the way. I think he might be someone they would really like.
Can we look at his size too, Wheatley?
Yeah, he is.
I think he's
6'2", 202.
Yeah, that's a good size. Now he's a little bit older,
definitely on the older side.
But again, if Williams is, I was going to say he's a little bit smaller, but I mean,
the Jolly is just a standard college senior there, 6'3", 263. So that is, he's a good receiver. Well, look at that, 489 receiving yards last year, 661, 586. That's 3 straight years of production.
Yeah,
as a tight end receiving the ball. It's just not much of a blocker, but he has the size.
Right. All right. What was the trade down again? I'm sorry, we got sidetracked.
It's pretty far. It's the Cowboys at 112.
So it's what, 13 picks? 17 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really. I don't know if it's necessarily really worth it. That's what, 112, and what's that, 150?
I mean, there's.
Well, we're in the third, right? What if you did? Well, hold on. Instead of doing all those picks, what if you did like
a third next year?
112 and a fourth next year? I would definitely do it, but that doesn't do anything for us.
I don't think you're gonna find a way to make that work.
Yeah.
I think I like Sam Roush a lot, but in the interest of doing something different, I'm down for Justin Jolly at tight end.
Yeah, let's do Jolly.
I'm also down for Zakee Wheatley if safety interests people. But
yeah, I mean, of course, Andrew says they probably like Roush over Big Christmas. He's not wrong about that.
Roush is that catch. It's just a one-on-one drill at the Senior Bowl, but the catch Roush makes on the out route where he's able to bend and catch a ball going to the ground. You just don't see movement skills like that in a big guy like him very often.
Yeah.
And that stood out to me.
Nikhil says pass on a wide receiver this draft. Yeah, I'm curious. Pat Stat says Jolly is solid. Let's just do Jolly. I think that makes sense.
No, we'll do Jolly at 95. Next pick coming up at 125 here.
Singleton's the guy we took last time.
Yeah, this is a lot of familiar names here. Nicholas Singleton, Austin Barber, Jaeger Burton. I hope you say it like that. Josh Cuevas, Chris McClellan. That's the top 5 here.
Yeah,
not a lot of receivers at this point in the draft.
No.
You wanna go to the club, the Cade club?
Yeah, maybe Drew Aller instead.
I do think I'd be curious if they would consider a quarterback on day 3 in this draft, just to have someone in the pipeline to develop as a backup.
Right. Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. It's just not,
especially with how many day 3 picks they have. You get to a point where it's like, all right, might as well.
I think that they're going to take one for sure. I'm just curious of what it looks like. You know what I mean?
If not this year, then probably next year.
Yeah.
We've kind of hit a dead area for receivers. To the back. Jacoby Lane, I think is lower here than he is on other boards. He was another guy who's
crazy low.
He had really good movement skills in that drill we were talking about earlier, and that intrigues me. For people who are curious, he's junior, 6'4", 200, moves very well. Only 1 year of really good production here. Hit 750 yards this year.
His gauntlet was awesome. It was
That's the
awesome.
word.
Yeah.
I would honestly be okay with Jacoby Lane here.
I would be okay with Jacoby Lane here. I also think too, Eli Raridan is a guy that I would like in this spot too. The tight end from Notre Dame. Big kid. 6'6", 260. No, 260 can't be right.
Well, we did just take a tight end, so I don't know if we need.
Oh yeah, you dummy! Right, we don't need another tight end.
Look,
I was thinking
I'm not
he's
against doubling
he's
down.
He's more of a blocking tight end than he is a receiving tight end.
That's something they could use. Maybe not this high.
Also, I would be okay with Jacoby Lane because his last name is Lane, and I could buy a Lane jersey. I'd be all right with that.
That's good enough for me.
Selfish reasons, I think that Jacoby Lane, and I honestly think that Jacoby Lane is a guy that makes a ton of sense for the Patriots in this situation. You're getting him in the 4th round. It's not, it's a decent value for a guy like that who looks like he has some skills. And Pat Setz, says that he has a bad drop rate, which he does.
I know it not. I mean, 7.5%. It's not great, but it's not that bad.
It's not awful, but it's not great either.
It's middle of the pack. A little bit.
So also, Nelson's asking about Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst isn't on the board, is he? I don't think. I would imagine not. I don't know if you want to go to wide receivers, but I'd be surprised if he were. Oh, he is.
169 is where he is in PFF Sports.
Really?
Georgia State receiver, 6'3", 195 as a senior.
I'm surprised he's that low on their board, to be honest with you.
Talk about drop rate. His is up at 9%. Which is
brutal. Especially for a guy who played at Georgia State.
I'd lean Jacoby Lane here.
I definitely would too. I think Hurst is an interesting guy. And I actually would consider doubling down and taking Hurst as well at some point, but I think Lane is the right pick here.
Yeah. No.
Let's do it.
We'll take Lane here at 125. Pat's going to pick right away again here at 131. So get another crack at it. Essentially the same cast of characters we were looking at the first time. Albert Regis we took last time.
Yep, love it. Who he put on a show at the Combine too. 618 says too that we're probably going to need a tackle at some point, which he's not wrong with that.
Jude Bowery here, left tackle, redshirt junior, 6'5", 311 out of BC.
Yeah, it's a big dude. That's a big man.
Yeah.
Who's the kid that they brought in for a visit?
Is he a tackle?
From Memphis. Yeah, the kid from Memphis. He's a monster. He's like 6'9".
Name's escaping me. Chris Adams?
Nope. It's hold on. WTH. I even tweeted it out, dude. Here it is. Travis Burke. I don't know if he's
see him. I think he may have already been taken.
Yeah, he's already been taken. Okay. All right, never mind. Yeah, 6'9", 325 is what he measured in.
That's unbelievable.
Pretty big. And of course, there's the kid Bell from Miami as well, but he's probably going to be a 2nd round pick. So, what are you thinking here?
I'm not sure. No one is. We could go Bryce Lance. That's another guy who did very well at the Combine. Trey Lance's brother. Did. Yeah, Drew Shelton. Drew Shelton's so much lower here than he is in other places. I find that
absolutely is. Yeah.
He's a good mover at tackle. Played 4 years at Penn State. Experience at left and right tackles. Not like he needs to put on weight. He was supposed to be someone who had 1st round potential this year and didn't live up to it.
Yeah. But I would be okay with taking someone like that because, that's a guy where I feel like if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then I look at it and say, okay, well, sure, he's wasn't projected for that. By the way, weighed in at 6'5", 313. So the PFF numbers are a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
33 3/8 inch arms, right? But like 31 inch vert and 9.4 broad with a 5.16 40 and a 1.79 10. Like that's it's pretty solid.
I'm also looking at Austin Barber here, who I know nothing about, but Just from a profile perspective, this is someone I could look at those run blocking grades, and I'm like, you put him at right tackle with that interests me.
That's a fair point. Yeah. So he's same guy, same type of thing here. 6'7", 318, weighed in 33 and 1/8 for the arm.
That is short.
You know, little bit better athleticism, not really, but 5.12 on the 40, 177 10-yard split, 31-inch vert, and 9.3 on the broad jump. You know,
I'd be okay.
again,
I do get worried about that arm length a little bit, but he's also very tall, so I think he probably has a little shoulder width to work with.
Right. So
I'm okay with that if we just want to go best tackle on the board.
Yeah, you want to go best tackle on the board and take Austin Barber? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that works for me. That'll be the pick of 131. We're going to move all the way down to 169 now.
Oh, now we get
Harold
to club
Perkins. I don't hate that.
Bang, there's the pick right there. I see it.
All right.
No, not him. Not him. Caleb Proctor. That's the pick right there.
This is the quick defensive lineman, right?
Yes, Southeast Louisiana. I think he's a guy that fits exactly what the Patriots want to do. I like him a lot. I think he fits really what the Patriots want to do. He's a guy that gets after the passer quickly. He's kind of that quick penetrator guy. I liked a lot. And as Nikhil mentioned, we met with him at the Combine. I think he's a guy that the Patriots going to be really interested in.
All right, Caleb Proctor at 169. We'll run that up. Not Kid Klubnik. All right, now we're into 190. We're into the 6th round here, so we can get real weird with this. Oscar Delp still on.
Oh, come on. That's insane. What is he doing? That's it. Don't even discuss anything else. Just pick him.
Yeah, Oscar Delp. That's a easy. If he's still there, something's wrong. 201. This is where we can really lean on some comments. If anyone in the comments has
if anyone likes anyone out there, let us know. Yeah. Some of these late round guys.
Roman Hemby. But yeah, redshirt senior. I thought he was older. The Indiana running back.
Yep.
I don't hate that as a running back at this point in the draft. Max Bredeson's a fullback / tight end.
Yeah. But
he is fun. You know, I did find interesting that little note that the Patriots may go sign a real fullback this year.
Yeah,
they may go after Patrick Ricard.
I was going to say there's 2 fullbacks on the market right now, Ricard and then the who's the Bills guy,
Reggie Gilliam.
Yes, yep, they're both available.
We go Lorenzo Styles Jr.
Got some speed, got some real speed.
Not a whole lot else right now, but you can't teach speed.
Someone asked about linebacker, what linebacker looked like right now.
Linebackers: Caleb Elam's-Orr from TCU, Owen Heineke from Oklahoma, Bryce Botcher from Oregon, Eric Gentry from USC, some of the top ones.
Yeah.
Lander Barton, Scoopy Williams, great name.
Mm-hmm.
None of these names are doing it for me right now.
I don't love any of those guys. I mean, they probably will take someone. I would think if they don't take a linebacker early, they'll end up just grabbing one late. Yeah. I just don't know what that will look like. I think we took Stone. Did we take Stonehouse last year?
I think we talked about it. We didn't do it though. I can't remember. We could replace one Michigan State punter with another Michigan State punter if we want to do that later. We still got a couple of picks. We could do the last one. I'd be
okay with that. I still think Stonehouse is the guy that they want. But by the way, Nelson says that Bryce Botcher is the guy. How about that?
Linebacker, right?
Jack Kelly apparently doubles at edge. So, according to Pat Stats.
Ooh, I like these numbers here. 232, 6'2", senior. He's older. Ooh, all right. Bryce Botcher.
Looks pretty good.
I think there's some numbers here I like. I'm down.
All right.
Want to do it?
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
As at 201, 208. I think I like Roman Hemby here. I remember watching him and liking him. Or we can go Caleb Black. We got 2 Indiana running backs here. I can go either way. Let's see who has more tread on the tires. You got redshirt seniors. I think they might both.
I think both redshirt seniors.
I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either one's fine with me. Whichever one you prefer.
Who's Cole? Someone asked about Cole Wisniewski.
Yeah.
Don't see him. He might not be in here.
And then Jack Kelly. Did Jack Kelly get taken already?
No.
We
already took a linebacker, but we could circle back around.
We just took a linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nelson just took the last one, but Nelson is saying that Hemby is a good pick.
All right.
So
do that.
I'm down with Hemby.
All right. And now we got 211. Man, we got we're going to get real familiar with this particular range at the 6th round.
Yeah, because we're taking 19 guys. Pat asking about Adam Randall. I want to take a look for Adam
I think
Randall.
He's gone. Oh, he's still here.
Oh, yeah, but that's weird.
We just took a running back, but Adam Randall is the wide receiver who converted to running back.
Like my guy, 29 for the Giants, from Purdue. Tyron Tracy, thank you. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Eric Gentry. Oh,
a fullback out of
Navy. Do it. Come on, Eli Heidenreich.
Screw it, why not?
Yeah, what the heck? I mean, how often do you get a chance to take a fullback out of Navy?
All right, and we got a lot of quarterbacks here. I'm not opposed to taking a quarterback at this point.
Jalen Green, do it.
Luke Altmaier, anyone having it? We took Pat said saying Landon Robinson. I think we took Landon Robinson the last Monday.
We did take Landon Robinson last Monday. I love Landon Robinson. We can't take him in every mock. I would take him in every mock, but we can't. Dude,
I took him in my mock draft. Riley Nowakowski. This is he in college for 6 years. Came out as a linebacker, then switched to running back, and then to tight end. So he kind of get used as an H-back for Indiana this year. We don't have to take him here because I've taken him in a mock, but he was good.
Interesting. If you wanted to take a quarterback, we could take the top guy on the board right now.
Who is Taylor Green?
Yeah. Put on an absolute show at the combine, dude.
I'm in.
Yeah, he
big boy.
Oh yeah. Just for people out there that didn't see him at the combine. Just didn't see him at the combine. 6'6", 227, 4'3", 640, 43.5 vertical jump, 11.2 broad jump.
I'm in.
I mean, what the heck, you know? And he can throw the ball decently far. So,
all right. That's your backup quarterback right there, Taylor Green. We'll get the punter as a UDFA.
/ as 618 Reason said, / future wide receiver.
Yes. All right. Well, there's the draft class. I'll recap it here real quick. We looked for some trade opportunities. Never ended up making a trade.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah. 31 guard Vega Ione out of Penn State. 63 edge Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. Justin Jolly at 95, Jacoby Lane at 125, Austin Barber at 131, Caleb Proctor at 169, Oscar Delp at 190, Bryce Bocher at 201, Roman Hemby at 208, Eli Heidenreich at 211, and Taylor Green rounding us out at 247. A lot of positions hit here. A lot of positions hit.
What did they give us, a C for this draft?
Let's see. B. Bottom 30% of. I think this is worse than the one we did last week.
I'm surprised that it's a B with all those C's and a D plus and a D. I guess you get a few A's in there, so that's fine. But
yeah, we nailed the top. They don't like Jacoby Lane.
That's true. I think the big thing for me here, and this is kind of what. Oh, thank you, Thad. Says it was a good draft. Appreciate you, Thad. And Pat, that's right. The real draft's going to be nuts. It's going to be a wild draft, but because of all this, because of all the sameness that is here, you know what I mean? So what I think, anytime you're doing a mock draft, right? What I think you want to try to hit on is the positions that the Patriots are looking for. We got a starting guard. We got a guy who can jump right in and be an edge guy and seems to be like a Patriots guy We drafted a tight end that can be an Austin Hooper replacement. We drafted a wide receiver that has a skill set that fits what the Patriots want. We drafted a developmental tackle. We drafted, a defensive lineman, right? We drafted another tight end that can be productive. We drafted a fullback, for God's sakes. We drafted a halfback that can kind of step in. Of course, they just cut, Antonio Gibson. So I think that, this is one of those things where it's like, and then you draft at the end, a quarterback. So I think what you're looking for is, how does it look for us when we are trying to fit in a bunch of different positions and really just try to hit the positions? And the guys are interchangeable, right? Like there are some guys that on this list that I love. I love Caleb Proctor. I love Oscar Delp, certainly in that spot, right? I really like Jacoby Lane. I really like Vega quite a bit and Malachi Lawrence. So there's some guys that I really like on this list. And there's some other guys that I'm like, yeah, like I don't know if I would actually take Bryce Bocher or if I would take Austin Barber, but like or even Jacoby Lane, but that's the position that I like. And I think in that spot, if you can get a guy that you feel like is a good, is a solid, I guess, developmental player, I'm down with it,
Agreed. I'll tweet out this picture for anyone who wants to rate it.
And yes, and as we said underneath, if you want to do a mock draft, submit it to us, send it by email to us. It's just patsnationnetwork@gmail.com. It is on the bottom. It's been on that bottom ticker the whole time, but patsnationnetwork@gmail.com. Make up your own mock, send it to us. We'll post it on the show and kind of go over it as well. So mock draft Monday, every Monday here on Pats Nation Network. So, we have fun with it. This is like best time of the year, right? It's March. March is 1,000 days long, with no end in sight. There's snow everywhere. It's going to rain for the next week straight. So it's a long process. So let's do as much as we can and try to have some fun with it.
I'm just glad that it seems like it's going to warm up a little bit.
Yeah. They said it's going to be might be 70 in like next week. So be pretty nice. I'm worried about around here. I'm worried about flash floods because the next 3 days are going to be like in the 40s or 50s and raining. So it's like the rain combined with, the warmness combined with all the snow is going to be melting because of the rain and the warmth. That's a recipe for disaster. So luckily I have a French drain, but nevertheless, it's not ideal. So anyways, So that's what we got. I think that's it.
Yeah,
so,
call that a wrap. Be back Thursday.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming through, everyone. We appreciate it. And we'll be back Thursday night. We'll probably talk about Matt's. We already talked about your mock draft that is getting released on Pat's Pulpit the next day or two. So
yeah, and apologies for the delay there. I just got a little writer's block over the weekend.
happens to the best of us. That's it is what it is. So, but yes, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we'll be back with you on Thursday night. Enjoy your week. Be good to each other, and go Pats.